Go-karts here go fast at Lucas Oil Speedway as well. On Nationals weekend, a promoters race takes place there on that tiny track, and there's some paint swapped during that event. We welcome you back to Lucas Oil Speedway. Shane Freeby, Doug Neff, as the Ozark Golf Cars USRA B Mods roll out behind the Bill Roberts Chevrolet Pace truck, 22 strong. On hand, 20 times around. A-Main will look like this. Chris Jackson, the J2 of Lebanon, Missouri, on the redraw. He is a 20-time winner this year. He will be on the pole. Cross Timbers, Missouri's Ryan Eddy to his outside in the 15.
Ryan Gilmore, the Springfield, Missouri, number 66 on the inside, and on the outside, J.C. Newell, Buffalo, Missouri, in the 83.
Scotty Boo making his way to Lucas Oil Speedway for the first time this year. The 11S will start inside row 3. And Chris Leathers, he was bad fast in his heat race. The 17L will start in 6th.
Fourth row is Cody Brill. That's Bates City, Missouri's 96. And on the outside, Mitchell Franklin, Camden, Missouri, in the F1.
The 18 of J.C. Morton is pulling double duty tonight. He is also running in a late model, but now he's in a B mod, starting inside row number 5. And Donnie Fellers out of Wheatland, Missouri, in the 24D outside of him.
Dayton Pursley, the young man from Hermitage, Missouri, in the 10P. Dakota Lowe, Prescott, Kansas, in 24.
We asked the question earlier, can another midseason champion win? I think it's going to be tough for Bobby Williams. He starts in 13th. He's in the 1B. Donnie Jackson outside of him out of Lebanon in the 42J.
It is Colson Kirk, Jerry Ellis, Kenny Nutter, Brian Shutt. It is Quentin Taylor, Eric Graves, Tracy Killian, and John Sheets round out the field as lights will go down.
John Sheets won his heat, DQ'd because of a right front suspension, so he has to start all the way in the tailback, and we have talked, Doug, as Brian Shute has some issues there on the front stretch. He's parked it on the infield right now in the 51. Looks as though it's under power. It just isn't going anywhere right now.
Well, as they get ready to go, Chris Jackson and Ryan Eddy, the veteran, on the two veterans on that front row. That's going to be a tough road to hoe for everybody behind.
And you know, Doug, sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. After the redraw, prior to our last redraw, Chris Jackson was to start 8th. Mitchell Franklin was to start 1st. The redraw completely flipped it. So right now, Mitchell Franklin's the bug, and Chris Jackson, he's the windshield. There's nothing out front of his windshield right now. He will be on the pole with a Ryan Eddy to his outside. Caution lights have been turned off. Green flag in hand of the Wheatland Outlaw Mike Striegel up on the Foley Equipment flag stand. And the field of 22 is under the control of the pace car, which is Chris Jackson in the J2. He sets the tempo through turns 3 and 4. Down on the loud pedal, green does not come out because Ryan Eddy got off to too quick of a start. He was off of turn 4 before Chris Jackson was even able to press the go button. So they all go back to where they were. There you see the F1 of Mitchell Franklin. Boy, a huge win for the Dove Darling. Also called him the Flower Child. If you missed it on Facebook, and now that we're on MAV TV, try to find Mitchell Franklin's Facebook page. He was a flower, I don't want to say flower girl. He was a flower person at a wedding. And you want to talk about doing it with flair.
Could you have done it better?
No chance. But evidently, flying some pedals in the air brought the F1 some good luck, because he turned around and 2 weeks ago picked up his first career win here at Lucas Oil Speedway. With the unluck of the redraw, he is now back in 8th, starting outside row 4. We'll see if Ryan Eddy learned his lesson on the front row with Chris Jackson to the inside. Let's do it all over again. Off of turn 4, green in the air, much better restart, back underway in Wheatland.
And they come around and out of turn number 2 this time. It is going to be the inside. That belongs to Chris Jackson. Jackson takes the lead. Ryan Eddy in that second spot as they come through. Gilmore, the 66, along with J.C. Newell in that second. A battle continues. Here comes Ryan Gilmore to challenge Eddy for that second spot.
Ryan Gilmore, a winner here. J.C. Newell, a winner here this year. Chris Jackson, multi-time winner. 7-time champ here at Lucas Oil Speedway. He will be leading the way, so we've got a lot of talent. 3 out of those top 4 cars as Gilmore makes the pass on Eddy. he now has in his crosshairs Chris Jackson, and Mitchell Franklin spins around in turn 2. Damage to the right rear. Another car goes down the ramp. I think that was J.C. Morton, if I'm not mistaken. I don't see him out there now. So 2 extremely strong cars all get wadded up in turns 1 and 2. Hobby Time Motorsports safety crew will come out as they got at least 1 lap in. We'll see if they did officially complete lap number 2. Up on the top side of turn 2, Mitchell Franklin will go up and see, hey, can you take care of this body damage? Just make sure I don't have a tire rub. Don't want to cut down my rubber on the right side. That American Racer needs to stay nice and inflated.
Yeah, it looked like J.C. Morton was having an issue, and for some whatever reason, the F1 of Mitchell Franklin checked up over in that corner. Morton had nowhere to go, got into the back, he turned him, and Morton, of course, with damage on that front, decided to take it off and back into the pits.
And Brian Shute, who had a difficult time even getting started, much the same way. See some metal of some kind being taken off that car by the crew here, and he's got, does he have a flat? No, I don't think he does.
I guess you look like he did.
So Chris Jackson out in front. He had gotten a 0.6 second advantage over Ryan Gilmore. 2 laps in, 18 to go. Typically those two duke it out whenever they're on the track at the same time and anywhere near each other.
This is going to be an interesting one, Shane, with those two up front. And if they decide that they're going to battle each other, you're going to have cars behind that are going to make their way up and into there. And while they're fighting, maybe get a chance to get around them.
Back on June 3rd, Ryan Gilmore, as J.C. Morton does start to come out of the pit area. Looks as though he's okay, so he went back to the hot pit. He is fine. Ryan Gilmore came in, had some issues, did not even make it out for the heat race. Didn't have enough for a B feature, so everybody made their way to the A. He had to start dead last. Ryan Gilmore worked his way up to a top 5 finish. That was the first feature of the night. Springfield is only about an hour and 10, hour and 15 away from here. He loaded the car up, drove to Springfield, went to the back of the pack for the B mod race there, won it. So he came away with a top 5 and a win at 2 tracks
on the
close
same
to
night.
An hour and a half away from each other on the same night.
Wow. Talk about getting your points and national points.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of national points, on the Delaware restart here, they come around into 3 out of turn number 4. Chris Jackson turns them loose. Green flag in the air.
Ryan Gilmore chooses to go to the inside. That's where Chris Jackson has put his tire tracks down, and Ryan Gilmore will follow those through turns 1 and 2, but he deviates from it in 3 and 4. Goes top shelf, trying to do something different, get a run. He does have a run. Nearly got up alongside the J2 on the front stretch. Can he do the same thing through turns 1 and 2? Oh my, yes he can. What a run. They're wheel-to-wheel down the backstretch.
It is the 66 of Ryan Gilmore. Springfield, Missouri on the high side coming out. He takes the lead on lap number 5.
Still a long way from being done as Ryan Gilmore grabs the lead, but now you see the Boone's Barbecue caution comes out again. Action over in turn 3 and 4. Jerry Ellis in the 24 and the number 2 of Eric Graves get together. Boone's Barbecue caution comes out, and look at what happened in that incident. See some smoke coming off of the car,
yeah.
Closer towards the front. Maybe something down on the track that made them spin around. Quentin Taylor involved in that as well. But it brings out the Boone's Barbecue caution, and we'll step aside, get everybody lined back out. First thing I find interesting in this is Ryan Gilmore was finding speed on the top on this restart. He elects to go to the inside of road number 2. So kind of an odd situation there. May try to just simply stay on the inside, stay right with Chris Jackson, clear Ryan Eddy, and then shoot up the track. Try to make some hay that way.
Well, we're going to find out pretty quick as they come out of turn number 4. Green flag in the air, and we are underway.
The J2 of Chris Jackson Out to a 2-car length advantage. Ryan Gilmore stays down on the brown, way down on the apron. Now he will go up to the top side. He clears Ryan Eddy, and he goes right back to the top. Read it like an open playbook.
But at the same time, so did Chris Jackson. Jackson, who normally runs on the bottom of this, went to the top to keep that line away from Ryan Gilmore.
And now Ryan Gilmore is going to have to do something different. He's going low in 1 and 2, on the top side in 3 and 4. So where oftentimes you see drivers just want to do the same thing on both ends, experienced drivers, those that know how a track changes, they will do something completely different on both ends of the track, and that's what Ryan Gilmore is doing. Good battle here for 5th, 6th, and 7th. 3 cars involved in that as Scotty Boo leads that pack. He's up to 5th. Dayton Pursley's in the 10. Also in that mix is Cody Brill. He's in the 96, and then J.C. Newell, that 83. He leads all of that as J.C.'s up into 4th. Scotty Boo, first time he has made his way here to Lucas Oil Speedway this year, up in Nevada. Typically runs up at that track. Dayton Pursley, he got a lot of schooling over the last year whenever he went to work for some late model drivers. He was on Earl Pearson Jr.'s crew, Tony Jackson Jr.'s crew. It was just a learning experience for him. He only ran a handful of races last year. He's turned his attention this year more along the lines of getting back behind the wheel. And you just wonder, a young driver like that that's still trying to learn, how many times he sits in the car hauler with EPJ or Tony Jackson and just starts to pick their brain on what they can do to improve themselves as a driver.
Yeah, and you imagine on a rainy day in the pits and nothing else to sit there and talk about strategy with those guys, that's got to be a great education for Dayton Pursley.
Scotty Boo brushes the wall. Dayton Pursley then will go to the inside. Tries to make the pass there as Bobby Williams up 1 more spot. He's in 8th, just out of the picture frame there, but now Cody Brill, the 96. He used to be a double-time driver. He would run a B Mod and a modified, now turning his attention just to the B Mod. He will fall in line right behind Dayton Pursley. Now go back side by side as Bobby Williams back in the weeds, getting a good vantage point of all that action going along up in front of him.
96, or Bobby Williams, the 8 is in that 8th spot. The 96 in 7th, that belongs to Cody Brill, the Bates City, Missouri native.
We've already had the cross flags, and Chris Jackson had pulled away from Ryan Gilmore, but now Ryan saw those cross flags in the air, and he knows it's got to be go time. That was not a good 3 and 4 for Ryan Gilmore. He got way up into the loose stuff, lost some ground. He's going to try to make it back in 1 and 2. Doesn't get much of it back as Chris Jackson still has a nice sizable 6-car length advantage, but now getting up into lap traffic. And the first one that will go a lap down, that is the 0K of Tracy Killian, all wadded up deeper in the field. Continues to be a great fight for 5th between Boo and Pursley.
Killian, the 0 car on that low side around Jackson, or in Jackson's line. Jackson has to go up into what is Ryan Gilmore's line now. And now Gilmore's going to follow suit as he gets around. He has an easier way around that traffic than does Jackson.
Ryan Gilmore had second place finish after second place finish for so long before he finally grabbed his first win. Most of those seconds as 3-car, the battle we were watching all gets wadded up. Dayton Pursley was slow. Cody Brill and the 55 of Colson Kirk get tangled up. Hobby Time Motorsport safety crew will go out, and Mitchell Franklin again over on track exit in turn 2. He is stopped up on the top side.
Looks like he got caught on that corner as he went to go make that turn. He's going to need some help.
Well, that battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th was hot and heavy. And finally it caught up with them. They can only run so close for so long before they green flag in hand. We've got 6 laps left. Some moisture was put down over in turns 1 and 2. There you see just a glimpse of it shooting straight up the track. That, I believe, came from Mitchell Franklin's car. And this has been all J2 so far. Talked to Chris before the races got started tonight. I said, are you ever going to bring the 65 back out? He says, the way my luck has been going right now, I put J2 on the side because that's our brand of cars we sell. This is a J2 car. I've been winning. I ain't breaking it if breaking that string as long as it's working. It's working tonight. He has led throughout, but Ryan Gilmore and Ryan Eddy both trying to say something about it.
It is the day two. That is Jackson, your leader. Here comes Gilmore. Gilmore starting on the high side as he is taking the momentum up high. Jackson goes up, tries to block his line as he comes around, 5 to go this time.
Best restart Ryan Gilmore has had with Chris Jackson leading the way. You can tell off of corner exit Ryan Gilmore is better, but that Rubel power plant that Chris Jackson has is hooked up, and Ryan Gilmore's day goes from good to really bad. Jump the cushion over in 3 and 4, and that'll do it for Ryan Gilmore, and that's probably also going to do it for Chris Jackson, but in a good way. Ryan Gilmore had been the only car involved that had anything for Chris Jackson. Give J.C. Morton some huge kudos as well. He was involved in that early incident, had to go into the pit. He is now back out, and he is up to 3rd as he has his teammate in J.C. Newell to the inside making the pass. Biggest mover after coming back out from the pit undoubtedly has been J.C. Morton. Bobby Williams started in 13th. He is now up into the top 5. He's your midseason point champion. Probably not going to win this one unless something goes really haywire for Chris Jackson right now. He's got 3/8 of a mile left to get it done. He sees the white. He'll have 2 more left-hand turns between himself and win number 21 on the season for Chris Jackson. Lucky string with the J2 stays intact. He hits 21 tonight. It is blackjack for Chris Jackson. A 2.9 second win over Ryan Eddy. Ryan Gilmore looked like he had something for Chris Jackson, but jumps the cushion. His day goes downhill from there on. J.C. Morton in 3rd, Newell and Bobby Williams your top 5. John Sheets, after a DQ in his heat, works his way up to 6th. Ryan Gilmore dropped all the way back to 8th. Colson Kirk was involved in that incident. He had to go to the pits, and he survives for an 11th place finish. Then the rest of the field, tough break for Mitchell Franklin after the redraw back in 8th, involved in an incident, had some issues on his car, and it expires, and that does it for Mitchell Franklin.